Hello, welcome to Raising the Bar with Omar L. Harris. This is the very first episode of my new show talking about elevating the practice of leadership. I am your host, Omar L. Harris. Today is Martin Luther King Day in 2024, and we're getting started off. We're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects on this program and hopefully learning a lot together and having a great collaborative discussion about something that affects all of us in one way or another, which is the practice of leadership. Now, today being Martin Luther King Day, it's a very special day here in the United States to really celebrate someone who led with influence, not with power. And so Martin Luther King was someone who he wasn't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. He wasn't a major political figure such as a senator or president, but he had such influence that presidents and senators actually listened to him and followed his direction as it related to civil rights and a number of other issues, which is really tremendous and significant if you think about how he wielded his authority not having any position of power. And as we begin talking about raising the bar in this program, Raising the Bar, that's really ultimately what we're talking about, which is how can you level up your level of influence, whether or not you have a title or a specific position or not. And servant leaders understand that their power doesn't come from their title. Their power actually stems from their ability to lean in, develop others, and ultimately engender trust. So this word trust is the most powerful word in leadership because, as John C. Maxwell says, leadership is influence. And how do you gain influence over others? Well, either you gain influence because of pure power, so basically they are forced to do what you say, or they're following you because they trust you and they believe that via your leadership, they're going to arrive at a better, more fruitful, more prosperous destination. And so when you lead with trust, and trust becomes your superpower versus your title, you really begin to transform the status quo for how people engage with you, engage with your leadership, and actually begin to engage with the overall purpose and mission of what it is that you're trying to do. And so we're going to talk a lot about trust over the course of this program. This is not going to be the first time or the last time that we talk about the subject of trust. But I wanted to introduce this today because of the fact of how many millions of people trusted Martin Luther King and followed him. And because of that, it gave him a tremendous platform and ability to influence at the highest levels of political authority in the United States, which was the president of the United States. So for those of you who don't know, President Lyndon B. Johnson really was highly impacted by the strategies that MLK and his team employed to create theater out of the discrimination and terrorism that was happening to blacks in the South of America at that time. And so Martin Luther King Jr. knew that by forcing whites in America to confront via television and spectacle their deepest and darkest selves, he knew that by forcing that to happen, this would lead to a moment of reckoning and a moment of catharsis, which ultimately resulted in the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1965. And so if Martin Luther King had been doing this for his own personal benefit or his own power or his own self-aggrandizement, I don't think that anything, first of all, the people who followed him would not have followed, nor would he have achieved as much as he ultimately was able to achieve in his lifetime. And the fact that he was assassinated after having achieved this just demonstrates how fearful people in power were of this individual who didn't possess positional power or political power, but had tremendous authority within the community and a tremendous reputation across a widespread of Americans, Black, white, and other. And so today, what I want you to think about on the Martin Luther King Day, 2024, is how are you going to raise the bar in terms of creating trust between yourself, your peers, your colleagues, and those in your employ? What are you going to do to enhance their ability to connect with you? How are you going to lower your self-orientation so that basically people can then experience your credibility and your reliability and your professional care for them? These are the questions that modern leaders really obsess over. Not how much signing authority do I have, or not when is my next promotion going to be occurring, or not how big are the brands or whatever it is, the financial portfolio that I'm tasked with managing. Their concern is how can I augment, maintain, sustain trust, because they understand that that is the true currency of power within an organization. And when you have that trust, then you have to utilize it to do something good. And doing something good in the context of business really means leaning into the concepts of stakeholder capitalism, which is very different than shareholder capitalism. Shareholder capitalism is the principle that corporations exist to put more money in the pockets of their shareholders, whereas stakeholder capitalism believes that we should be producing more outcomes and better outcomes for more stakeholders, not just shareholders, but employees, customers, communities, the environment, and ultimately shareholders. Now, I talk a lot about this subject in my book, Be a JEDI Leader, Not a Boss, Leadership in the Era of Corporate Social Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, which I highly recommend you pick up. But this episode and future episodes for 2024 are all sponsored by my latest book, The JEDI Leader's Playbook, The Insider's Guide to Eradicating Injustices, Eliminating Inequities, Expanding Diversity, and Enhancing Inclusion. And the key to doing those four things that I just mentioned comes down to how trusted you are. And so if you're operating within JEDI or DEI within your organizations and you're trying to move the needle today, then don't focus so much on the agenda that you're trying to push. Focus on building multi-directional trust. Ensure that people see you as credible, they find you reliable, you have the right degree of professional intimacy and network and relationships across your organization that will allow you ultimately to push your agenda through. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything within an organization. But if you do have trust, believe me, that's going to grease the wheel and allow you to make a difference in terms of expanding diversity, enhancing inclusion, and all the things that we want to do as it relates to DEI. And this is really an important subject on Martin Luther King Day, seeing the progress that we've made or the lack of progress that we made since the Civil Rights Act was ultimately enacted back in the 1960s. Now, we've seen tremendous progress. I mean, there's no way of denying the amount of progress that African Americans in this country have actually achieved. However, we still have a long way to go. And this is why JEDI leadership is the next level of leadership. This is where we're trying to raise the bar from managers, bosses, getting rid of those standards and moving into servant leadership, high performance team leadership, change leadership, and then JEDI leadership. Things that I'm going to be talking about in person during my upcoming Servant Leadership Mastery series that's going to be happening over 6 cities in 2024: Dubai, London, Accra, Ghana, Johannesburg, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and in Manila in the Philippines. And I'm going to be bringing this topics to these cities. We have 50 seats in each city. I'm looking for 4 corporate partners in each city to send 15 of their highest talented managers so that we can send them back to your corporation fully ready to raise the bar for the entire organization. Consider this like a train the trainer for what they're going to be able to do when they get back to the offices after these 2 or 3 days, depending on which package they pursue. And really this year is all about for me, going beyond the books and going beyond the page and really begin speaking to you like this, because I want to have this one-on-one connection with each of you out there. I want to be someone you can turn to and ask your questions about leadership. How do we connect with our people? How do we build more trust? And how do we drive the results that we want to drive without needing to be a boss? And that's what this show, Raising the Bar, is all about. So as we conclude the first episode of this new program, I hope you're as excited as I am to wade into some of these topics. I want to see in the comments what topics you think we should be covering in the Raising the Bar program. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and that will help us boost and raise our profile through the algorithm. If you're on LinkedIn watching this or Instagram watching this, please like and share the content that's coming out of this program. And together, I really believe that we can all raise the bar and achieve the higher level of leadership that we need today more than ever to help achieve those expanded outcomes for our employees, our customers, our communities, the environment, and of course, our shareholders. That's it for today. Happy Martin Luther King Day 2024, and you'll be seeing a lot more of me very soon. Take care.
I'm thrilled to invite you to a groundbreaking event that's set to transform the way we think about leadership. This series is a unique opportunity for leaders like you to delve deep into the principles of servant leadership, learn from renowned experts, and connect with like-minded professionals. Many leaders we've worked with have faced challenges like maintaining team motivation and effective communication. Do these issues resonate with you? Our Servant Leadership Mastery series has helped leaders overcome such challenges. Mastery, according to the Japanese concept of shuhari, is merely a process of learning the basics, experimenting and integrating, and innovating and anticipating what's next. Your Sherpa on this journey is no regular leadership expert. Omar L. Harris's background is steeped in extraordinary diversity and influence. Having navigated corporate landscapes across multiple continents, from the United States and South America to Asia and the Middle East, for over 2 decades, he is a powerful testament to resilience and adaptability. The seasoned executive coach pens an impressive collection of 8 bestseller books, each exploring a different facet of his leadership expertise. Highlights include Leaderboard, The DNA of High-Performance Teams, and signature work such as the JEDI Leaders Playbook, The Insider's Guide to Eradicating Injustices, Eliminating Inequities, Expanding Diversity, and Enhancing Inclusion. Today's world demands a new breed of leaders who are not just effective, but also empathetic, inclusive, and genuinely committed to the growth and well-being of their teams. This is where the concept of servant leadership comes into play. Servant leadership is not just a strategy, but a philosophy and daily practice that emphasizes the importance of leading by example, prioritizing the needs of others, and fostering a culture of trust and collaboration. It's about being a leader who serves first and leads second. And it first requires an ability and desire to unlearn some habits and behaviors that will no longer serve us moving forward. Harris's philosophy holds self-awareness as a cornerstone of effective leadership. However, he asserts that this quality is severely lacking in existing leadership models, with only 15% of people being truly self-aware. According to Harris, the reasons signaling this deficit are threefold. The unbalanced calibration of intrinsic and extrinsic self-awareness, what we know about ourselves versus what others know about us. A paradoxical relationship between self-awareness, age, and success. Often, as individuals age or taste success, they tend to refrain from self-questioning and instead double down on what has worked so far. The context-driven aspect of self-awareness means that invariable life contexts might alter a person's self-perception and, therefore, their self-awareness. Harris's work emphasizes that by acknowledging these factors and understanding their implications, leaders can better manage their blind spots and make informed decisions, instilling trust and driving organizational transformation. This series will help you unlock your leadership superpower, trust. You will learn how to show up with credibility, demonstrate your character, and communicate to foster greater connection. And as trust increases, so does your ability to influence others, with or without line authority. You will learn to lean into your unique leadership strengths as well as how to foster an environment of stability, hope, and compassion. Then you will discover how to unlock the DNA of your teams and organizations to potentialize performance. You will acquire the skills to wield change as a transformational tool versus constantly being on the receiving end of change. In today's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, learn how to remain a calm, steadying presence who people believe can navigate them through it. Become the protagonist of your own leadership journey by focusing on what you can control and influence instead of existing in the sphere of concern. This series is tailored to empower leaders like you with practical, empathetic leadership skills. We focus on 4 key modules, which directly address feeling a lack of agency, increasing employee engagement, harnessing team DNA, and overcoming dysfunction. Participants have seen remarkable improvements in team performance and personal leadership growth. Imagine leading a team where every member feels valued, heard, and motivated to perform their best. That's the power of servant leadership. It's not just about achieving goals, it's about creating a positive, sustainable impact. So, if you're ready to embark on this transformative journey and elevate your leadership skills, join us at the Servant Leadership Mastery Series. Spots are limited, so don't miss your chance to be part of this exclusive event. Let's redefine leadership together. I look forward to seeing you there. Enroll by January 31st to receive our early bird bonus and a personalized coaching session with Omar.